Hello everyone, you're watching News Mongolia on MNB World. It's Tuesday, May the 2nd. I'm Batsir Namshir. Our top stories for News Mongolia. Confederation of Mongolian Trade Unions organized a peaceful May Day protest at Sukhbaatar Square. Mongolia's foreign debt decreased to $8 billion. It's expected that the weather in May will be colder than the long-term average in most areas of Mongolia. For the news, stay tuned. The Confederation of Mongolian Trade Unions organized a peaceful protest at Sukhbaatar Square on May 1st to mark International Workers' Day. Demonstrators demanded that measures be taken to decrease inflation and increase the minimum wage.
The Confederation called for raising the minimum wage to 880,000 MNT, approximately $1.5 per hour, in response to rising prices and inflation. They also demanded higher salaries for teachers and medical workers. The trade unions warned that they will escalate their demonstrations to include a strike if the government fails to take action.
People are demanding a solution to rising prices. To tell the truth, the prices for essential products have become similar to prices in developing countries, but salaries are several times lower than salaries in other countries. Thousands of young professionals are immigrating abroad, like we are living in a country at war. Our demands include reforms. We ask the authorities to invest in our people. We should support the domestic production of goods. Bribery and corruption have become a huge problem. Our salaries aren't enough to live a decent life. My salary is 500,000 Mongolian tugus. I make essential payments on payday, and I'm left with practically nothing. The salaries are very low. Due to inflation, salaries should be raised at least twofold to cover essential needs.
The medical sector is losing its professional staff due to low salaries. For example, nowadays we don't have enough nurses, as young professionals wanting a better life are going abroad.
Similar demonstrations took place in Mongolia's 21 provinces. Protesters called for reforms and investment in the Mongolian people through support for domestic production. They also expressed concerns about bribery and corruption, which they say has become a significant problem.
On Monday, May 1st, Minister of Finance Jakhlang held a press briefing to provide the latest updates on the country's foreign debt. He noted that Mongolia avoided default risk and that foreign debts has decreased to $8 billion.
Last Friday, the government of Mongolia completed the payment of the remaining $387 million of the $800 million Gerege bond issued by Mongolia in 2017. Since 1990, the government has entered into market relations with international financial institutions such as the World Bank, International Monetary Fund, World Bank Group, financial institutions, and Asian Development Bank. Since 2012, bonds of financial debt and credit relations have been created in the international market with the code name Government, and the government issued its own bonds. In 2012, the Chinggis bond was issued. A total of 7 bonds have been issued by the government. The Chinggis bond was used to finance state programs. The 3 bonds issued since then were designed to cover budget deficits. The Horolda, Gerege, and Nomad bonds issued in 2017 were issued only for refinancing and adjusting previous debts.
He noted that the remaining $136.8 million of the Chinggis bond debt was fully paid off in December 2022. The total debt of the government has decreased to $8 billion. In the third and fourth quarters of 2022, there was a high probability of Mongolia going into default. Minister Jahlan noted that the successful increase of exports in 2022 was the driving force for avoiding foreign debt default. According to last week's report on exports, 18 million tons of coal were exported, similar to exports in September 2022. At the end of 2022, export volume increased to 32 million tons.
Based on information provided by the National Agency for Meteorology and Environmental Monitoring, it seems that May, the northwestern part of Mongolia will be colder than the average and experience higher rainfall. The temperatures will be colder than the long-term average in most areas at the beginning of the month, with a gradual warming up from the middle of the first 10 days. However, it's expected to cool down again in the middle of May, as well in the middle of the last days of the second period of 10 days.
Precipitation is likely to occur in most areas at the beginning of May, and the wind speed is expected to increase and intensify during this time. Towards the end of the first period of 10 days and the beginning of the second period of 10 days of the month, precipitation is expected in the eastern and Gobi provinces, followed by wet snow, known as sleet, in mountainous areas, and rain in the desert and steppe regions in the middle and at the end of the second period of 10 days, as well as the end of the month. Therefore, there will be a large temperature fluctuations throughout the day and night, as well as during warmer and colder periods throughout this month. It is recommended that farmers and herdsmen prepare early for necessary activities during calving and spring planting and take all necessary measures to overcome spring weather. Additionally, the public is advised to be aware of daily short-term weather forecasts and be prepared for any potential dangerous natural phenomena.
Now let's take a look at the currency exchange rates provided by Mongol Bank. You're watching News Mongolia on MNB World. Now let's take a look at international news from our partner agencies. Turkish forces have killed the leader of the Islamic State group during an operation in Syria. Turkish President Erdogan said late on Sunday. Erdogan announced in a television interview that the IS leader, codenamed Abu Hussein al-Kuryashi, was killed in a strike conducted on Saturday.
Erdogan said the Turkish intelligence agency MIT had been following him for a long time.
Our National Intelligence Agency has been following the so-called leader of Daesh, codenamed Abu Hussein al-Kuryashi, for a long time. Now I'm announcing this here for the first time. Yes, this person was neutralized in an operation carried out by MIT yesterday in Syria. God willing, after this, we will continue our struggle against terrorist organizations without discrimination against any of them.
A member of the Turkish-backed Syrian opposition forces military police told the Associated Press that the MIT clashed with IS militants on a farm in the village of Miska in Aleppo province late Friday night. As the fighting intensified, al-Quraishi, who was hiding in a building on the farm, blew himself up. Investigators were searching the hideout for evidence and other information. The Syrian Observatory for Human Rights, a Britain-based opposition war monitor, added that Turkish drones flew over the area as Turkish-backed Syrian opposition groups closed off roads leading to the area where the clashes took place after Ankara put them on high alert. There was no immediate confirmation from the IS group. Turkey has conducted numerous operations against IS and Kurdish groups along the Syrian border, capturing or killing suspected militants. The country controls large swaths of territory in northern Syria following a series of land incursions to drive Kurdish groups away from the Turkish-Syrian border. Abu Hussein al-Quraishi was named leader of the militant group after its previous chief was killed last October. He took over leadership of Islamic State at a time when the extremist group has lost control of the territory it once held in Iraq and Syria. However, he had been trying to rise again with sleeper cells carrying out deadly attacks in both countries.
Tourists and fans of the British royal family packed London souvenir shops on Monday, rushing to buy special edition King Charles III memorabilia as the UK prepares for the monarch's coronation.
A solar-powered dancing king toy was the best seller in memorabilia shops near Buckingham Palace. The coronation is luring royal enthusiasts fascinated by the ceremonial spectacle and drama of the monarchy. But it is also attracting the attention of tourists who were unaware of the upcoming historical event but nonetheless eager to bring back a souvenir of British history. Official and unofficial merchandise abounds at shops and tourist areas, with Charles' likeness crudely emblazoned on t-shirts, plates, tote bags, pens, cups, and egg carriers. Even more items show his mother, who died in September after 70 years on the throne, on everything from mugs to bobblehead figures.
The best seller at the moment is the Dancing King Charles because of the coronation. This one we top up at least 3 to 4 times a day because it's going very fast and we don't have the space to keep it, so we top it up very quickly.
I didn't know. We planned to visit London because there are bank holidays, also in Czech Republic, and it simply happened when we have problems to book accommodation here, then we discovered, oh, it's the day of the coronation.
The United Kingdom received some 29.7 million visits last year, still nearly a third below 2019. Officials have high hopes that the coronation will provide a vital boost to the country's tourism industry, still reeling from 2 years of COVID-19 shutdowns. Queen Elizabeth II's Platinum Jubilee celebrations last year brought in an extra 2.6 million visitors to London, city officials said, and Charles' coronation is expected to have a similar effect.
Now let's take a look at the weather forecast for the world's major cities. Well, that's all for today. Thank you for staying with us. We'll see you on Wednesday with more news and updates. Goodbye.